Hello everyone, welcome to Court with Krissy. While the fireworks may have fizzled after the 4th, a few duds did make their way to court in Licking County. I hope you like it. Court with Krissy is now in session.
We got a full load today, might as well jump in, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, first up today is going to be Matthew Barrett. Good afternoon, sir. Are you Mr. Barrett?
Yeah.
Mr. Barrett, did you watch the video and do you understand your rights today?
Yes.
All right. Did you get a copy of your traffic ticket?
Yeah, I believe it's in my property.
Okay. Well, it looks like the Newark Police Department is alleging that on or about July the 6th at about 9:41 p.m., that you were driving a black 2013 Chevy sedan on Mount Vernon Road in the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, while under the influence of alcohol and/or drug of abuse. Commonly known as OVI, it's a misdemeanor of the first degree, carries maximum penalties. And let's see, I think the allegation is here that this is a third offense within a 10-year period. Case number 617, yeah. So they're alleging that this would be a third offense within a 10-year period, and for that reason, the maximum penalties are as follow: up to a 1-year term of incarceration, a fine not to exceed $2,750, and a maximum license suspension of up to 12 years. Now, the minimum penalties include a fine of at least $850, at least a 2-year license suspension, and at least 30 consecutive days in the jail. So do you understand what you're charged with?
Yes.
And how do you wish to plead today, Mr. Barrett? How do you wish to plead, sir?
Guilty.
You want to do a guilty plea on a third OVI within a 10-year period?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, before I can accept your plea, sir, I have to ask you a number of questions. The first of which is, do you realize that as you stand there, I presume, and our system presumes, that you're not guilty of this offense? You realize that?
Yeah.
And in fact, in any prosecution, it's always the state's burden to prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. A defendant is never obligated to prove innocence. Do you understand that?
So, if I were to plead not guilty, could I get out and get my affairs in order?
If you were to plead not guilty, I would set a bond for you. I would review the narrative report of the officer and take a look at your record, and I'd make a decision about whether or not it was appropriate to release you on your own recognizance or require you to post some sort of a bond. I don't know the answer to that yet. But I do know that if you plead guilty and I accept your plea, you're going to be convicted of an offense which carries up to a year in jail. So do you want to do a not guilty?
Yeah.
What is your current address, Mr. Barrett? Are you employed, Mr. Barrett?
I was. I doubt I am now.
Where were you working?
Bright Innovations in New Albany.
What do they do?
Like Bath and Body Works products.
Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do today, Mr. Barrett, is I am going to release you on your own recognizance on 2 conditions. Number 1, you're not to consume any alcohol or use any drugs while the bond is in place. And number 2, you're to report immediately upon your release, or if closed at the time, if the office is closed at the time of your release, you're to report to the Municipal Court Adult Probation Department, which is located in the building, the basement rather, of the city building at 40 West Main Street, because I'm going to order that as a condition of bond. You have an alcohol monitor installed on your ankle. That'll verify your compliance with my abstinence order. Now, what happens next is your case gets randomly assigned to a judge, and it'll automatically be set for a jury trial. You have the right to hire an attorney if you want, but you're also eligible to ask the court to give you one for free. The application is available down at the jail, but since I'm releasing you, they're not going to send that in. That's going to end up being your responsibility. So whatever it is, if you want to get a lawyer, don't sleep on it until the day of your trial. Deal with it right away. You understand?
I do.
Do you have any other questions today?
No.
Then you may go with the officer. Thank you, Mr. Barrett.
Thanks.
Christopher Belger? Good afternoon, sir. How do you pronounce your last name?
Belgium.
Oh, it's a soft G, so it's Belger? All right. Well, Mr. Belger, did you watch the video about your rights in court? Down there at the jail, like right before they brought you in?
No, sir.
You didn't go over the form with all the information about your rights? Had little boxes next to each paragraph?
It was hard to multitask while reading a paper and watching a video at the same time because I don't have 4 eyes.
Well, the Licking Memorial Police Department is alleging that on or about July the 7th of this year, here in the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, that you did recklessly remain on the land or premises of another, as to which notice against unauthorized access or presence is given by actual communication to the offender. Commonly known as criminal trespass, this is a misdemeanor of the 4th degree, carries up to 30 days in the county jail and up to a $250 fine. How do you wish to plead to the charge, Mr. Belger?
There's not proper information on the paper I was handed on that paper.
So I'll go ahead and enter a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Do you have a mailing address?
No, sir. The sheriff brought me to the Salvation Army and they did not let me in.
Okay. Is it because they didn't have a bed available, or you don't qualify, or what?
I didn't have an Ohio State ID.
No. I'm assuming you still don't have one, right?
No.
So here's the deal, Mr. Belger. I don't want to keep you in jail in lieu of bond on an M4, but we need to be able to notify you of future court dates. So how are we going to get around that? You don't have anybody you can have your mail sent to that would let you do that?
No.
All right. Are you going to be asking the court for an attorney? You're eligible to have an attorney appointed to represent you for free. I would strongly recommend that you do that because I'm forced to go ahead and set a $100 10% bond for you, which means you'd have to come up with about $15.50 or so, ballpark, in order to be released. But if you get an attorney, the attorney can try to work with you to make sure that we can actually communicate with you through the mail on the outside, because I don't want to keep you in there any longer than I have to. Understand?
Also are on this paper because my hair is not black.
Okay, well, that's all things that we can discuss later on. But as for right now, the case is going to get randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial. You'll receive notice through the mail, but they'll send it to you at the jail until and unless you're released. Any questions? All right, Mr. Belger, you may go with the officer. Thank you very much. Yeah, the guy in the uniform that you're looking at. You can go with him right now. George Clark.
Yes, sir. I didn't know about the court notice, but...
Hey, Mr. Clark, can I fill you in on something? When a defendant gets up in front of me and they just immediately start talking, it usually doesn't go well for them. So why don't you just let me run the railroad and I'll give you a chance to talk and ask questions in a minute, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so you were here because I issued a warrant for your arrest back on July the 3rd of last week. You were scheduled for a change of plea. When you didn't appear, we went ahead and we issued the warrant. Now, what would you like to say about not appearing?
I didn't know nothing about that, sir. I thought it was already dropped.
Well, it looks like you have two cases here. One is, I don't know that you've ever actually been arraigned on.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so we've got new charges and we've got the old charges. Well, okay, what is your old charge? Resisting and trespass. What is your address, Mr. Clark? What's your address, Mr. Clark?
I thought they dropped that other charge, sir.
Well, obviously they didn't. Otherwise, you wouldn't be standing there talking to me.
Well, I didn't know, sir. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
The new charge is in that now.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything right now. I'm actually just looking at your file.
Okay.
You spell your last name with an E, correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you actually live down there on South 6th, or do you use that as a mailing address?
I just moved there the first month.
Who do you live there with?
Me and my fiance.
Okay, and what'd you say the street number was?
Yes, sir. I have no reason not to appear.
Is there an apartment or anything like that? Is it like apartment A or no apartment?
No.
No? Okay. All right, so today is the 8th.
I'll show up, sir. I swear to God. I got no reason why not to show up. I thought the lawyer didn't drop that case.
Well, the lawyers, yeah. So you do have counsel on this case. You were scheduled for a change of plea. That's probably what we'll go ahead and reschedule it as. And then if you change your mind about doing a plea, then you can certainly let us know.
It was supposed to be to drop the charges or get time served or something.
Yeah, well, I can't speak to that now during this hearing, but obviously we'll be back in court to resolve this matter. Now, let's see here. we need to talk about your new case.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you about it here in a second.
Okay.
Okay, so you got a new case where these charges were filed back in June, but they didn't issue a summons. They went ahead and issued a warrant, but there are two complaints here. Oh, they did issue you a summons. Okay, yeah, they did, but I'll tell you where they sent it.
What that?
Whose address is that?
South 30th?
Yeah.
That's the Circle K. I went in there and got a coffee for my coffee, and then went back in and get ice cubes, and then your brother's lip to me, and I ran my mouth back to him.
I'm saying where the summons to appear was mailed, so I'm not
Oh,
sure.
that's Circle K. That's Circle K.
All right, let me look at something here real quick.
I went there and get coffee, and then went back in and get ice, because coffee's too hot.
Well, let's hold off on saying anything right now because one of the allegations is that you trespassed there, so you don't want to make
wow.
any statements. Okay. All right. Let me take a quick look here. Well, let me tell you what you've got going on. So there's 2-count complaint here, both filed by the Newark Police Department. This is all alleged to have occurred back on June the 7th of this year in the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio. The first count alleges that you knowingly, with the purpose to deprive the owner of property valued less than $1,000, obtained or exerted control over that property without consent. It's commonly known as theft. It's a misdemeanor of the first degree. It's up to 180 days jail, up to a $1,000 fine. The second count alleges that you knowingly caused another to believe that you would cause physical harm to them or a member of their family.
Oh, wow.
That's commonly known as menacing. It's an M4. It's up to 30 days and up to a $250 fine. Now, judging by your reaction, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that you'd like to enter pleas of not guilty, correct?
Definitely. I was wondering, get coffee. I bought a cup of coffee and then went back
Hold
in.
up on saying what may or may not have happened because we're recording
Sorry.
this, as you know, and you don't want to say anything that might compromise your situation, okay?
I'm sorry.
All right, so let's go ahead and...
I'm gonna go to my lawyer's if you let me out. I'll go straight to my lawyer's office about this. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Is there a way I can go straight down to my lawyer's office and take care of this?
Well, you're going to want to contact your attorney that's been appointed on your other case, and then you're going to want to get an application form there at the jail for court-appointed counsel because you'll have to, if you want a lawyer on both of them, you got to fill out a new application. But I want to check one thing here before you, Mr. Clark, before I let you know what we're going to do, and we're going to wrap this up. But give me 1 second here. Okay. So these are the only 2 reasons that you're being held in jail. I'm actually going to release you on your own recognizance on both of them, but I want to be upfront with you. If you fail to appear in the future and then you see me for a bond after you get picked up on the warrant, it will not be an OR bond next time. Do you understand?
I understand completely.
Okay, so we'll get the older case rescheduled for a hearing. On the new case, that gets randomly assigned to a judge set for a trial until and unless you get an attorney. We're going to send the notices to you. And by the way, Mr. Clark, you can always track your case online at our website or call the clerk's office to figure out when your next hearing is. So there's really no excuse to miss it. All right?
That works.
All right, Mr. Clark, you may go with the officer. Thank you.
Okay.
Eric Cox.
Wait, my house.
In here? In this one?
Yes.
Good afternoon, Ms. Cox. Do you understand your rights in court today? Do you understand your rights?
Yes.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint?
I'm sorry, you're frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. It's just our camera angle. You can hear me,
Okay.
correct?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. You understand? You said you understand your rights. Did you get a copy of the complaint?
I did get a copy of the complaint.
Did you read it? You understand what you're charged with?
Kind of. Yeah, I guess so.
Well, Lincoln County Sheriff is alleging that on or about July the 7th of this year, here in the city of Newark and Lincoln County, Ohio, you recklessly cause inconvenience, annoyance, or alarm to another by creating a condition that is physically offensive to persons or that presents a risk of physical harm to a person by any act that serves no lawful and reasonable purpose for being asked to stop. So that's commonly known as persistent disorderly conduct, and it's an M4. It's up to 30 days and up to a $250 fine. How would you like to plead?
After being asked to stop, can I ask what the complaint was?
I have no idea. That's just what the formal complaint reads. It tracks the language of the statute. In order to get that information, you'd have to enter a plea of not guilty and make a demand for discovery or get a copy of the court file.
Okay, I just, I'm here, I'm out on bond for a different charge, correct?
I did know that.
Yeah, okay, and so I paid that bond, and then the person that helped me pay that bond picked me up from the hospital after I got taken to the hospital for something that I don't even know why. They made me go to the hospital, and then was supposed to take me home, and then came here, and the officer was telling me to get out of the car, and I said, well, he came to pick me up to take me home, and so I just wanted to know, I'm a little confused about what's going on right now after going to the hospital.
Well, so do you want to enter a plea of not guilty to this charge?
Yes, please, because I still live at the same address, and I still have the same bond for the other thing, and I got my papers in the mail for that, and so planning on showing up for court for that, and so, yeah, not guilty, please.
Are you working these days?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm at Burger King.
And how long have you been there?
I'm not sure, Your Honor.
Like more than a month?
I don't know. Yeah, more than a month. I mean, I've had the same job for a while.
Well, Ms. Cox, against my better judgment, I'm going to actually release you on your own recognizance today. I'm going to order that you not consume any alcohol or illegal drugs while the bond is in place. Now, this is completely unrelated to your pending cases, so it's very likely that this is not going to be joined with those. If you want an attorney to be appointed to represent you, you have to fill out a new application. You can get one there at the jail. I do not believe you're being held on anything else. Let me verify that.
Right.
Does not look like
Thank
you
you.
are. So that means that you have to turn it in. And listen, you know the drill. Don't wait until the day of your trial to deal with getting an attorney. Do you have any questions
Thank you,
today?
Your Honor. No, thank
Then
you,
you
Your
may
Honor.
go with the officer. Thank you. All right, next up we have Courtney Eisen. Good afternoon, Miss Eisen. I want you to take a deep breath, okay? We're going to get you out of there, all right? Take a deep breath for me, all right? There was some mix-up between your lawyer and the court, and we went ahead and we issued that warrant, and I'm going to recall the warrant, and I'm going to order that you be released on your own recognizance, okay? That means you're going to get out, all right? And then when you do, Miss Eisen, I want you to contact your attorney once you get home and let them know that you're back, okay? You know, you're going to want to ask your mom to help you out, and you can look that up online at our website. His name's Robert Wisniewski, but his contact information will be there, okay? When did they pick you up? It looks like they picked up on Friday. That's not good. All right, 0, 7, 8, 24. All right, well, Miss Eisen, as I said, I'm going to go ahead and recall the warrant, order that you be released on your own recognizance, and we're going to get a new court date, and your lawyer will let you know when that court date is. So, as I said, you're going to want to stay in close contact with them. Do you have any other questions today, ma'am? All right, then you can go with the officer. Thank you, Miss Eisen. All right. Oh, can I see that file again real quick? Audie Orr?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. You're Mr. Orr?
Yes, sir.
All right. You understand your rights in court today?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive a copy of the complaint that was filed?
Yes, sir, I did.
Did you read it and understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Looks like the Newark Police Department is alleging that on or about June the 27th of this year, here in the city of Newark and in Licking County, Ohio, that you recklessly violated the terms of a protection order issued or a consent agreement approved pursuant to sections 2919.26 or 3113.31, respectively, of the revised code, commonly known as violation of protection order. It's a misdemeanor of the first degree, carries up to a 180-day jail term and up to a $1,000 fine. You understand?
Yes, sir.
And how do you wish to plead today?
Not guilty.
And what is your current address, sir?
1150, well, the house I got a CPO on is, you can have mail sent there for me.
All right. So, are you employed?
I'm medically retired from the military, 100% disabled, sir.
Honorably discharged?
Yes, sir.
And what branch did you serve in?
I was in the Army.
What was your MOS?
I was an 88 Mike and a 63B, and I was an NCO when I got out.
So what are those two codes for?
88 Mike is I can drive anything with a set of wheels the Army's got. 63B is I can fix anything with a motor, pretty much, except for a helicopter
Alrighty.
or a turbine.
Yeah, those are different kinds of things, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let me take a quick look here at the file, then we're going to talk about your bond, okay? Where were you when you got arrested?
Coles, hanging out with my buddy. I was just getting ready to go into Planet Fitness to work out.
How did they know you had a warrant?
They didn't. We were sitting there in the grass hanging out. I was smoking a joint because it was legal. And the cop said, somebody called and said we were ODing at 90 degrees, laying in a shade under a tree.
All right. Well,
And the cop said, someone called, you're ODing.
let me fill you on one thing, though, real quick. Nicholsworth free legal advice. It's actually not legal to smoke in public. You can smoke in your house, you can smoke in your car as long as you're not behind the wheel driving it, but you can't smoke in public. Okay?
Oh, I was walking, sir, and I didn't know that, sir. I was still.
Well, that's okay. I'm not criticizing you for it. I just thought you should know so that you don't find yourself in any trouble in the future. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you
All right,
very much.
let me take a quick look here at the file, and then we're going to talk about your bond.
Yeah, I was told I got a new phone number and everything, and I have neuropathy in my hands. And when I went to delete all of her phone numbers, my hand actually hit dialed. It was a 10-second call.
Let's hold off on talking about what may or may not have happened, because you pled not guilty, and that means that
Yes, sir.
everything's at issue, and you don't want to give the state any additional ammunition, all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long were you in the Army for, Mr. Orr?
I was there 10.5 years and 2 combat tours in Iraq in 03 and 04.
Well, number one, obviously you sacrificed quite a bit for your country, so let me, on behalf of it, thank you for that. Number two, I'm going to go ahead and release you on your own recognizance on the condition that you abide by the terms of any active CPO that's out there, all right? Now,
Yes, sir.
what happens next, Mr. Orr, is that this case gets randomly assigned to a judge and set for a trial, and until and unless a lawyer gets involved on your behalf, we're going to send those notices directly to you. Now, if her address is you got to figure out a different address to have your stuff sent to.
That's my address, sir.
Oh, okay.
She has
I
these
had
not
down here, so I didn't understand what you were saying when I asked you originally what your address was. So never mind about any of that. But if you want to get a lawyer, you can either hire one. You're eligible to ask the court to give you one for free. The application is available to you there at the jail, but since I'm going to cut you loose, the jail will not send that in for you. That's going to be your responsibility. If you want to get a lawyer, deal with that well in advance of the next time you're supposed to be in court. You understand?
Okay, I'll go to the VSO and see if the Veterans Service Commission can help me get an attorney.
Well, you can get the application form at the jail. If you need their assistance to get it all filled out and everything, that's fine. But the clerks can help you too. But if you prefer going to the Veterans Services office, that's fine. So any other
They'll help me fill out the paperwork. I'm more hands-on than I am book smart, sir.
Fair enough. Any other questions today, Mr. Orr?
No, Your Honor.
Then you may go with the officer. With the officer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.